Troy Kearns, real estate investor. Today, I'm going to talk to you about something that's affecting every single person out there, something that you hear about on every single news cycle. You're hearing about it for the last 18 months, and my God, it's starting again. COVID-19, Delta, we've got American Airlines strand, we've got Southwest Airlines strand. You got to wear a mask, you don't got to wear a mask. Governments are shutting down. What can you do as a real estate investor to flourish in this economy, to not have to worry about a bunch of mandates, and how you can protect yourself against losing money as a landlord, as a real estate investor, and how you can benefit and come out of this thing smelling like a rose? What's going to happen in the future? What do I think is going to happen? What new mandates are happening, and how you need to prepare for all of them. We just went through this, right? We just had a shutdown. We just recovered from it. Most of the states have opened back up, and bang, we get hit again. Why should you care about me talking about this? I'm gonna tell you right now. Number one is I was the first guy on the block to get my PPP money for my businesses. The first guy, okay? I'm gonna tell you how I did that. So you need to find out that that's a big part of how you're gonna benefit, is finding out all the purse strings that are being pulled right now and where the wallets are at. You wanna know where the purses are at and where the wallet's at, so you can go get that money and benefit from it versus sitting back and watching all the other people gobble it up. Because when there is a shutdown, when there is a closure, and if that does happen, there's gonna be a bunch of money that everybody's gonna be scrambling for, that's gonna be earmarked for some guys, including real estate investors. So with the Delta variant, things have gotten crazy as the spikes of COVID have hit all through these other counties, and you're seeing more news, more deaths, more disaster. Guess what you're gonna see? More shutdowns. Now, mandates are coming back on. If you've got a vaccine, wear a mask. If you don't have a vaccine, you're gonna have to wear a mask. And guess what? You're not allowed to go outdoors in certain places. If you've paid attention to what's going on in Australia right now, the military is flying over the beaches and kicking people off the beach, making people go take shots, and it's getting crazy. If you guys don't remember what happened, March COVID hit, right? What happened? Well, I was selling real estate and I had 9 offers on one property, and for 2 months it flatlined. Beep, nothing happened, right? After all the money started coming out, real estate market shot up like a rocket ship. It just went high and high and high. So what's gonna happen this time? Well, that's why you're here. So the first thing that you're gonna notice is that people are gonna continue to leave these cities, right? So we're going to start and see people leave the city, give up their apartment, move to an area where there's less restrictions, less mandates, more open free air, and someplace that they don't feel like they're gonna get infected and that they have a chance of dying, right? So people are going to leave. Why? Because fear motivates, man. And people are scared to death of COVID-19. But it's multiplied by mass media coverage, by being the talking point of pretty much every conversation, because every time you look up, there's a button that says no vaccine, no mask, no service, whatever it is. And listen, the same thing that happened last time might happen again. You know, these sellers, we couldn't do open houses, right? That's gonna come back, right? We're not gonna be able to do open houses anymore. Then sellers aren't gonna be allowed to be in the house while you're showing the property. There's gonna be like quarantine periods. We saw this all before, so it's gonna come back. They're gonna go back to the same things that they did before and start these restrictions again. And listen, if you're a developer right now, I'll tell you one thing that is definitely gonna affect you, and everybody knows this: customer service during COVID-19 has gone out the freaking door. And that starts, number one, with city and government officials, okay? These people are definitely told, do not work from the office, do not come into the office, and guess what that does? That slows down permits, that slows down developments, that slows down getting your passport, everything. It slows every single thing that you need the government to do, it slows it down. So if you're a developer, if you're in real estate, and if you're planning on developing real estate, know that your permits are gonna take longer. You may not even be able to get permits, so you need to consider everything that you're doing and work with a city that has a plan, is successful, and is not gonna bind winds you up further so that you get stuck in this situation where you've got a project that you can't do anything with because you can't get a hold of anybody. Speaking of Delta, we're talking about the airline this time, not the Strand. Delta Airlines in Kansas City parked about 200 jets. They parked it in the field, they shut them down, and guess what they do? Those pilots are working, they're gonna reduce overhead, they're gonna cut expenses, they're gonna cut things, and you're gonna see more people get laid off and more people not come back to the workforce. The real estate market could go up, it could go down. So far, COVID's been great for the real estate market in terms of appreciation and because there's been a lack of demand, but now with the foreclosure moratorium lifting, right? But now it's maybe going back on. Who knows what's happening, right? Let's talk about some of the benefits that you can gain from investing during COVID and how some of the other guys made money last time. Well, first of all, we talked about it. There's going to be lots of debt that's going to be available, right? Lots of free money that you can borrow with favorable debt terms that the government is going to give us in order to pour money on the problem, right? So they're going to pour money out. You're going to need to be aware of when it's coming out, pay attention to what's coming out, set up Google alerts, do something so that you can be aware that there's new money out there. Get involved with your account and make sure you got a great account, because really that's how I found out about everything. Make sure if you don't have a good account that you get a good account and you understand what programs are being offered. Can you borrow money? Is it a good reason to borrow money? Can you borrow money at a good price and pay it back at a cheap interest rate, right? I got a $150,000 loan during COVID. I got a $300,000 PPP loan during COVID for one of my businesses, and we paid all that money back, and we have both been forgiven for all of those, which were used for payroll, which made that we were able to keep all of our employees for my towing company. That really helped our towing company survive. If we didn't get that COVID money, that towing company would be out of business. That money is super important, but also you could borrow money for your other businesses. Some of my other businesses, I was able to borrow money at a discount, like super duper low rates of like 3.25%, 3.5%, 3.75%, cheap money that you can pay back over 30 years. So there's going to be plenty of cheap money out there. So make sure you got your hand out. Why are people still bullish on investing? Why is the market possibly going to continue to go up? Well, people are still bullish on investing in the US because although $200 a square foot might seem high in a lot of other markets, it's nothing. I mean, you got to consider somebody invested in the US versus someone investing in London, or someone invested in Shanghai, China, or someone investing in Dubai. Our money's cheap, our houses are cheap. So it's still a great place to invest, right? There's still cheap markets out there with other investors that are just chomping at the bit to get in because everything that they got is way more expensive and our stuff is cheap. Another great reason is the investors can get positive cash flow. And let's talk about that. So when you're investing in real estate, the one thing you want to make sure is that you have positive cash flow. That means that whatever debt you have on that loan, your revenue, the profit you're generating is net positive. You're not losing money every month on this investment. And that's true. It happens sometimes. You lose money on investments, but you want to make sure that when you're investing in real estate that you got positive return on your investment. And you can guarantee that our market offers that all across the country. And that's why people are still bullish on investing in the USA even during COVID. I mentioned London, Australia. These guys are used to betting on the come. They bet on appreciation and take negative cash flow. So our market is very good compared to what they're used to. But another reason that they like our market is it's relatively stable, right? It has stability, right? It's not constantly up and down, or is it, right? It's kind of been that way lately, but overall, our market is relatively stable because we don't have major government interruptions. We've got eminent domain. That's where the government can seize your property. But besides that, there's not an overreaching government that's taking your property, and it's more predictable than other investments in other countries. And as tough as it may seem, the American dream is still alive and well. I mean, you can still come here. You can still build anything out of anything, right? You can build a business, you can build whatever you want. It's relatively easy in some of these markets. We talk about it in Kansas City, Missouri. You can literally work at Burger King, Subway, whatever, borrow enough money to buy a house cheaper than you can pay in rent. You can own this house, you can put your money into it, You can rent it out. There's so many ways to make money in real estate that you just need to get started today. And the reason that the US economy is still hot is that even though we don't have local investors as much, foreign investors are making up the gap. It's like this. Guys in Kansas City are less interested in investing in Kansas City because they've seen the market run. I'm less interested in investing in Las Vegas because I saw where I got great deals and I see where it's at now. So I'm kind of turned off on Vegas for residential sides. But on Kansas City, I'm like, wow, there's still a lot of room to move. But local guys in Kansas City are like, man, this market's already gone too far. So that's what the foreigners see when they invest in the US. They're like, well, in Sydney or in London or in China or wherever, it's really much worse of a deal in the United States. Even though I'm not getting as good of a return as I could have got, I'm getting much better return than I would expect in my own country. And investing in real estate, if you didn't know, is one of the best businesses you can have out there. Many businesses come and go. In fact, I challenge you to comment below with a business that's been around for like 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 years. There's not many of them, right? You got McDonald's that's been around a long time. You've got, what, Blockbuster Video? Nope, that's gone. But you know what's not gone? Their box store. Land ain't going away. Real estate ain't going away. It's the safest business to invest in. And if you've owned real estate for 100 years, guess what? You're rich. If you've owned real estate for 200 years, you're richer. If you've owned a business, that business is changing. Old houses are as good as gold. And one thing to finish this video off with, and I'm so glad you stayed until the end, is you gotta know that over time, real estate has never declined, right? Never. So we know it's changed and things change, like New York City in the 70s and the 80s was a cesspool. And then it came back and it was very valuable and people bought a lot of stuff there. Real estate over time is a great long-term investment. It will take you through COVID. I'm so glad you stayed all the way to the end because I'm gonna tell you how I benefited through COVID, for missing out rents, for losing money. Well, guess what? You got to make sure that you're working with good property managers and that you're aware of the laws that are passed. So in Mississippi, they had extra money for people, landlords who were affected by tenants who couldn't pay rent. And I had several tenants that couldn't pay rent and the state of Mississippi gave me money. And that's going to happen in other states that you invest in, and that's going to happen in other markets that you invest in. And you need to be able to have good books and be able to get that money when it comes out. You want to be able to borrow money when it's cheap, and you want to be able to get free money when it's free. And you want to make sure you get all of that. So make sure you subscribe to our channel because we'll be breaking all of those things out in videos and telling you exactly where the free money's at, where you're going to need to be, how to get the right money, how to file the right tax return, and how to make sure that you qualify so that you get 2 signed off PPP loans like I did. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.